Okay, so this is the differentiation challenge. You should have split up myths and facts. Let's see how well you did. If you click on myths and facts on the sidebar there, you'll be able to see the answers. So, for every myth, there's a fact that goes with it. Differentiation is another word for individualization. The fact is that these two are not synonymous. When we think about DI, and I often have to remind myself of this, is that DI is based on the instruction that we present to our students. Individualization could then be another aspect of DI, but they're not synonymous with each other. So do I stand and I lecture to my kids all day long, or do I offer multiple means or differentiated ways to express my instruction? So it's not definitely just individualization. It's that whole, do we offer multiple means? In a differentiated classroom, you will see all the kids doing something different. Okay, that's a myth. So in differentiation, teachers must develop managerial strategies to keep both students and teachers organized. So it's not necessarily that we're designing 27 different things to do with the kids. We may be giving them one generic thing to do, but giving them a variety of tools on how to unpack the one thing we want them to do. Differentiation will change everything and solve all of our teaching problems. I hope you LOL'd at this one. There's never a magic pill. Although if they invent the diet one, I'll be the first one to buy it. There's no magic to solve student achievement, but the more we can do to help our kids to unpack the learning that they have to be exposed to, especially as the new standards roll in, the more better practice that we are doing as professionals. In a differentiated classroom, the teacher does not teach. I would say this is definitely a big myth, because although you may not be doing direct instruction, you are facilitating a lot of learning. A lot of the learning that we see now in our classroom should be more of that guide on the side, letting our students be more in charge of their learning as opposed to this sage on the stage where we're always in control with this continuous direct instruction. You can't differentiate when you're trying to prepare for high stakes testing. Ugh, right? So that's definitely a myth. If we can give kids the tools to unpack their learning, so no matter what scenario we put them in, high stakes testing or the classroom setting, if we're giving them and coaching them through these proper tools, then they should be able to unpack anything in theory, right? Differentiation is mainly for gifted and talented students. You and I both know that there is a wide spectrum of learning going on in all of our classrooms. So it's definitely not for our gifted and talented. It's definitely based on readiness, interests, learning profiles, and not just ability alone. We're going to kind of get into that kind of stuff throughout these next couple of nights. Couple more. How are we doing so far? Did you guys do all right? So far, so good? Differentiation is a way to, typo, is a way to group or track students. I can relate this and why this is a myth. Whenever I was in school, there was a reading group, and there were the Cardinals, and there were the Blue Jays, and there were the Robins. So I was always a Robin. So I never had the ability to flourish in my reading experience because I was always tracked as a Robin. So DI isn't necessarily, tracking purposes. DI is all about flexibility and its grouping. And we'll get into more of that too if you are interested. Couple more. There is no fair way to grade in a DI classroom. So I would argue the fact that DI is actually a photo album of student growth. Because you are offering multiple means of instruction, you are allowed to see student growth in the various ways that actually click with students. So there is a lot of accountability that goes along with DI. Everything that teachers have to do, they can't be expected to differentiate too. There is no denying the fact that teachers have one of the busiest, hardest jobs ever. But DI should not be an additional thing. It should be embedded in what you naturally do. In fact, I would probably argue that teachers naturally DI, whether they realize it's DI or not. Lastly, differentiation takes too much time that I don't have. Simply, I would say to you, our kids deserve our time. So that the steps that you put in place to help foster learning in multiple means is worth our time to do. Does it take quite a bit of planning time? Yes. Is the payoff in a long-term amount? Yes. Okay. So we'll kind of explore all that. So how do we do? We do all right? 100%? Okay, one of the things I'd like to start off and show you today is the story of Mr. Dogood. I have an agenda here, so if you want to click on that, these are the things we're going to be doing today. And then I'm going to click on Mr. Dogood. So you can kind of explore the site while I'm kind of getting Mr. Dogood ready. I want to make sure these speakers are all plugged in. Okay, we should be good.
I was looking at your data, Mr. Dogood. Your scores are down. I am concerned.
I am too. We have reassessed on parts of speech 17 times. I don't know what else to do for them.
Have you differentiated your lessons? You need to differentiate your lessons.
It is a level class. I shouldn't have to differentiate. And, yes, I have differentiated my lessons.
It's a level class. You shouldn't need to differentiate.
That's what I just said.
Your test scores are down.
I know. The students don't care about parts of speech.
How do you know?
They told me. They said we don't care about parts of speech.
What did you say?
I said you have studied parts of speech every year since the 2nd grade. You were in the 8th grade. You should know them by now.
What did they say?
They said we don't care about parts of speech.
Have you differentiated your lessons?
Yes, I have. I told you I have.
Is your lesson fun? It needs to be fun.
Parts of speech are not fun. But, yes, my lessons are fun.
How do you know?
The students told me. They said this is fun.
Tell me about your lessons. They need to be fun.
First, I sang a song about parts of speech and the students took notes. It was fun.
What was your next lesson?
I made up a dance to go with the song and taught it to the students. It was fun.
What was your next lesson?
After we sang the song and did a dance, we finger painted a mural using different colors and flavors of pudding. All about the parts of speech. It was fun.
What was your next lesson?
I hired a pony for each part of speech and gave the children rides while we sang the song and did the dance. Then we ate more pudding. It was fun.
You did not get approval to spend money on ponies. How did you pay for them?
I paid with my own money.
You cannot afford that. We are in our 5th year of salary freeze. How did you pay for the ponies?
I sold one of my kidneys.
What was your next lesson?
I attached myself to a spinning wheel and let the students throw knives at me while they were on the ponies singing and dancing. We also had more pudding.
How do you know if it was fun?
They told me. They said this is fun.
Your test scores are down.
I know. You are concerned.
Have you differentiated your lessons?
Yes, I have differentiated my fun lessons.
I've been looking at your data.
I hate my life.
For Mr. Dogood. Murals, ponies, knives, kidney selling. He's done it all for his kids. Okay. So you are here to kind of explore DI a little bit more. One of the things that I had sent you in an email earlier is, what do you want to get out of this class? Because there's nothing more that I hate in this whole entire world than a wasted PD. So I'm more here to kind of facilitate your learning and what you would like to do. So hopefully by the end of our 4-part series, you're walking away with something that is either tangible for your classroom, a better understanding of something that you can get that's worthwhile out of this PD. And hopefully not cause a lot of stress and headache, right? Maybe a little stress, maybe a little headache, but that's our job, right? One of the things I'm going to ask you to do next says, do your DI, and it's a personal inventory. So to really naturally think and reflect on your own teaching practices, I'm going to ask you to click there, and it's going to give you kind of this Likert scale of 1, never, ever, almost never, to 4, frequently and consistently. And there's about 24 questions that you can rate yourself and your teaching practices on here. Now you can do this like with a scrap sheet of paper, or I have the actual print-offs. Would you want to just kind of maybe jot down on the print-offs? I have that available here to kind of rate yourself and what you do with kids. This might give you a better idea as to what you might want to get out of this brief PD. Thank you. Sure. I'll give these to you guys too if you want it. So I'll give you a few minutes to kind of go through some of those, and then if there's something that you might be confused on, let me know. I'll be happy to kind of explain further or what they're meaning or something like that. I'm fine.
I figured I'd come see you.
I know, I'm teaching right now.
You know what? You're off work and you're still
And
teaching.
I'm still teaching, man. Not really teaching, I'm
Do you
just
want me
kind of,
to come back?
I would love for you to come back, because I'd love to sit down and talk to you and catch up.
Okay.
All right. Mrs. Moore got that from
Really?
when he was born.
That's cute. I really like that. I saw you the other day driving to Bloomington.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, why didn't you say hi to me, you little rat? But I was driving, so you're
Yeah.
forgiven.
But yeah, I'm gonna come back and see you sometime.
Okay.
When you're not busy.
Please, I would love that. Give me another hug. It was good seeing you too. We're on camera, by the way, but that's all right.
Oh.
I can do other laughing.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Now, if there's some things that you're answering that are 3s and 4s, yay you. This is stuff that you naturally do with kids in your classroom that you may not have even realized that it was a DI principle or a DI practice. But the 1s and 2s that you're kind of reflecting on right now, that might be giving you some idea as to what you'd like to get out of this very short, tiny exploration of DI. There's also a backside too.